Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland, my weekly show where I take a deep dive into a particular film, and even if they're 3.5 minutes long. And joining me is friend and frequent collaborator, Paige. Thank you so much for coming on.
We aren't best friends? You usually say we're best friends.
Do I?
No, you say that we're very good friends, but I think we're best friends.
We are best friends,
okay,
but I don't know if I'm Paige's best friend. I think that would be my wife, Jess.
I like you both.
There we go. And I made a deal with Paige because she hates Wes Anderson to pick the shortest Wes Anderson movie. And honestly, I think we chose well because this is so on brand. Yep, this movie is
for us.
Bonk to the horny jail.
Yeah.
And that is Prada's Candy. But for those who haven't tuned into the show before, we have 3 segments. So we have coming attractions for Friday, March 7th, because God, it's March already.
Oh my God.
Ew. And
Ew.
then we'll be getting into our short film, Prada, which is it just a commercial? Yes, but and it's certainly not a commercial you find in the United States. And then we have some recommendations for you. Mm-hmm. So this weekend of March 7th, there's a lot of movies actually coming out, a wide range of different things. The biggest one is Mickey 17, the new Bong Joon-ho film, and then a splattering of other films. But Paige, why is The Rule of Jenny Penn your most anticipated movie?
Because ever since I saw John Lithgow in Dexter, he scares me. Mm-hmm. And the thought of him ruling over a nursing home with a puppet is
terrifying.
Disturbing in ways I can't even fully articulate.
Would it creep you out more if I told you he had a Kiwi accent the whole time?
I think that would just confuse me.
Because he does.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Good to know.
I guess he was preparing his accents for when he plays Dumbledore, because that officially got announced that he's going to be Dumbledore.
In what?
The new Harry Potter Max series that they're going to do.
Oh, they're actually doing that? Okay.
100% doing that, and I think he is the first official cast member to be confirmed.
How did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
He's much more that energy than... He's much more Michael Gambon than Richard Harris. You know who would have been even more of... that kind of Dumbledore if they got Jeffrey Rush to play him. Because between Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow, The Rule of Jenny Penn's a big sell for me. Because,
For sure.
Oh my God. And
It's a lot.
I love Jeffrey Rush, and I wish he would be in more things. Because honestly, I don't see him in a ton.
He's old now, though.
Yeah. Well, so is John Lithgow.
Yeah, they're both, in their late 70s, right?
Yeah, John Lithgow, I think he's 79, and he's like, I'm going to be 87 when the last season of Harry Potter comes out.
Wow. Wait, they already have 10 seasons planned?
Well, the plan is 8 seasons for the 8 books.
There's only 7 books.
Maybe they're gonna split the... See, even the movies tricked me because they split the last book into 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're not starting filming until next year, but he basically said, I'm going to be 87 years old when this is all over.
Oh my God.
So, there you go. Max is going to do it anyway. Okay. But you should check out Shudder for The Rule of Jenny Penn, because it looks wild. I think the last thing Jeffrey Rush really got attention for, outside of Pirates, was King's Speech, and that was 15 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Jess and I did rewatch Intolerable Cruelty, and he plays a fantastic, angry television exec who finds his wife boning the pool guy.
Oh my God, that's such
He's we don't even have a pool, do we? Just a whole other...
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have a pool, so I wonder why he was there.
For sex?
Yes, that was the correct answer. But
Speaking of which...
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. There's a lot of films that I almost picked Mickey 17, but I'm a huge professional wrestling fan, and I'm super excited about Queen of the Ring, which is about the Mildred Burke story. And one of the reasons why I'm super excited about this is there's a whole bunch of actual professional wrestlers that are going to be in this movie too. So, I like pro wrestling. Highlighting women's pro wrestling is awesome. Apparently, Mildred Burke was the wealthiest women's athlete in the world at the point where she was top of women's wrestling. So
good for her.
I don't know how the film's going to be, but we're going to find out, and I'm looking forward to it. It also has a whole bunch of Walton Goggins is in it, Josh Lucas, whoever, I don't remember the actor's name. I just know him as Kreese from Cobra Kai and from the Karate Kid. So.
Yeah, I forget his name.
AKA Jess just keeps saying he looks just like RFK Jr. Same tan leather place.
Oh,
but anyway, so there's a lot of films to choose from this coming weekend, and hopefully Bong Joon-ho's new film makes some money since they kept delaying it, and Warner Brothers supposedly wanted to make it more commercial. So,
oh my god.
Let him cook. Let him do his job.
Exactly. Let him go off.
You got Bong Joon-ho to make a movie. Let him be weird.
For sure.
Didn't you watch Okja or Snowpiercer? Even Parasite's weird, and generally that's not even weird compared to the couple other ones.
Yeah, I agree. Let him cook.
But anyway, we're here to talk about the short film Prada, Candy. And this focuses on Candy as a modern, chic French woman. She meets Julius and Jean, who are best friends, and cannot choose between them when both of them are fighting over her love. I was really weirded out because they're supposed to be best friends, but the fact that these actors look like they could have been twins. I don't know. Obviously they're not because their names are Peter Gadio and Rodolphe Pauly, so they're not twins. But they basically look like, and I'm like, is this where this is going? But honestly, the only backstory I really have from this is, well, one, Roman Coppola and Wes Anderson co-directed this film, and it was a Prada commercial for their new perfume Candy, which they have a couple of Prada Candy little inserts.
Yeah.
Because basically this short film is told in 3 parts. Mm-hmm. You have the first part, and then it's a week later, and then it's a month later seeing this relationship. But Paige, what were your general thoughts on Candy?
Can I talk about my hatred for Wes Anderson, or are we doing that after we talk about the film?
Go ahead.
Okay. So Wes Anderson creeps me out. If he doesn't have bodies in his basement, I'd be very surprised, and I'm so sorry. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice man, but that's where my brain goes. His aesthetic is so repetitive, and I hate it, and I'm sorry. I'm not actually saying I think he's a serial killer, but I do think his aesthetic is very repetitive, and I feel like he's a one-trick pony.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I got that off my chest. So that's why Shane is like, okay, I'm doing Wes Anderson, but you only have to watch 3.5 minutes.
She only had a microdose Wes Anderson,
yes,
so
exactly.
She agreed. So.
Oh my god. And this is coming from a woman who willingly watched 8 John Ford movies for you, so
yes.
You know I don't like Wes Anderson.
Including one that was literally just a sex video about how you should clean your genitalia and not sleep around.
I'll never get over that. That was traumatizing.
If you want to check out my episode for sex hygiene, you can go check that video out.
Yeah, if you want to watch us just have a meltdown, for 20 minutes. Yeah, but anyway. But the movie, I love a Challengers scenario.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I don't hate this. And I feel like I wasn't surprised that Wes Anderson had a co-director because I feel like his extremely annoying aesthetic was toned down a little bit.
They didn't have enough money for him to go full blown.
Perhaps that is true as well.
This was a commercial budget. Mm-hmm. Because, there's a few shots that are, very Wes Anderson-y. Mm-hmm. They're sitting in a little cafe, and, the camera just, pans across through, behind a counter and everything. And then there's one specific camera push up, tilt up, when they, drive their car, and then it's just, whoop, looking up at the really, obnoxious flat, apartment that he has with just giant-ass windows. What does he do for a living? They didn't explore that.
We never know.
They didn't explore that in 3.5 minutes, these couple of French Twinkie-looking guys.
Mm-hmm. They were so Twinkie.
And then there's the one shot they go to a movie theater, and, that was a beautiful shot of them just sitting there and just how beautiful the theater looked behind them. But, they also wanted to have beautiful shots of Candy by Prada, which they did indeed have a couple of shots like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basically, they totally ran off at the end after Léa Seydoux decided that it's time to have this threesome. That's basically the energy that it felt like at the very end of this. Yeah. I'm like, and then it jumps to like 10 minutes later, and they're like all in bed together. I'm like, that's exactly where the story went.
Yeah.
She couldn't decide, so she chose both.
Love it. I love that for her.
Yep.
I have no notes, like, beyond that. Fully support that.
Which, Lea Seydoux is such a talented actor, and she definitely has a lot of charm here. Like, to be frank, I couldn't really tell the two other guys apart very much.
They look, like you said, you thought they were brothers.
Yes.
Or supposed to be brothers, which, while you were watching the film, which made you be like,
If they were, it would have been even weirder.
Yeah, that's creepy. Don't do that.
But she definitely was a standout, and there's multiple moments where like the camera was a close up of her, and she really had to like sell the look how seductive and cool and chic I am with my lovely Prada candy. So this film, there's not a whole lot else to it besides, you know, her building up to the point where she decides, I'm going to have a threesome with these two best friends. And also she has some savage comments about the two of them. One in particular, I forget which one she said, because it's Gene and Julius. Like, Julius is a girl's... is a girl's dream, but every woman's nightmare. I'm just like, wow. Yeah, that's because he's so he's so cute, but then he apparently is very immature and probably weird and probably would annoy the hell out of somebody who wants a legitimate relationship. I'm like, damn. So then she's just like, well, I'll sleep with the two of them, and then we'll go from there. So.
Yeah, good for her. I love that for her. Yeah, but...
So apparently Wes Anderson only reserves sexy for his short films, apparently. Because Hotel Chevalier and this are by far the only films that even feel even like an ounce sexy. Because every other one just kind of feels sad and lonely and weird and awkward.
Yeah.
And Moonrise Kingdom's about two kids who have like innocent love for each other. And then it's just like, nope, every other adult in all of his movies are sad, lonely, and awkward. So... at least, you know, if you wanted something a little bit spicier, Wes Anderson style, you could check out Prada Candy. So there you go. But, Paige, do you have any other thoughts on this commercial?
No, I'm just happy that that this was my Wes Anderson dose for the year, the month. I don't know how long you're doing this.
Because then Paige will be back for next season, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
For Miyazaki. And we'll be joined for Spirited Away.
Yes.
The big one.
Yes. And, yeah, but I'm also... Wes Anderson doesn't have nearly as many films as John Ford either.
No, because I'm already halfway through.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be done by mid-May. So we're chugging along here and moving through. But leading into our last segment, so something that Paige would like to recommend to everybody is...
I don't know if I'd recommend it, but I...
recommend is a strong word, I guess.
Is a strong word. No, I just finished rewatching House. You know, because I was in the mood for something nostalgic, because life is terrible, and I watched the whole show, and I'm like, wow, they've really, like, late 2000s, early 2010s queer bait hits different. They don't make it like that anymore. You know, I love, like, two middle-aged men in a tragic love affair that they never actually, like, say, but...
Is one of them House? I've never watched the show.
You've never watched House? Really?
No, I've seen clips of House.
No, his best friend, Wilson, the oncologist, they have, like, a... Yeah, it's queer bait. It's like, have you seen Sherlock? The BBC one?
No, I haven't watched that. It's on my watch list, but I have heard plenty about, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
Have you seen Hannibal?
Yes,
okay.
I have watched Hannibal. Is that queer baity? Because that one's a little bit more aggressively just like in your face about stuff.
I feel like
I was half expected. Was it Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen to just like clear the table and just start doing it right there, right now.
So I feel like Hannibal is like the bridge between the queer bait and the just regular queer media. That's how I view that show. But like it's a little less gay than that, but not by much. Okay. Like it's anyway, they don't make queer bait like that anymore, and I was like, wow. And also it's a very tragic ending. So
I do really like Hugh Laurie. I was really enjoying Avenue 5 before HBO canceled it.
What's that about?
He plays the captain on a spaceship cruise.
Okay. Like Kirk type of captain?
So, like, he spoiler, he's an actor, so it's all an act. So, like, he's like an American actor putting on a British captain act on this ship because, like, it basically pilots itself, kind of thing. And Josh Gad is, like, the billionaire, like, Elon Musk type character who is, like, behind this. And things go, well, literally everything goes wrong. And this is from Armando Iannucci, who made Veep and In the Thick of It and stuff like that. And it makes me, and Death of Stalin. It makes me so sad they canceled it. But Hugh Laurie's fantastic in that for sure.
Is that like a black comedy?
Yes,
based
100%.
on okay,
100%, and it's way too relevant at times. Like, yeah.
I didn't even know Hugh Laurie like did anything else. Like I've only ever seen him in House.
In Stuart Little.
No, I know
dad.
like what he was in before House, and then he did House, and then I just like I'm like, did he die? Like I have no idea.
When I was a kid, I had a really weird realization. I was watching The Borrowers, and I swore, I'm like, is that just Dick Van Dyke super, super young again? But it was just Hugh Laurie.
They don't look anything alike. Dick Van Dyke and Hugh Laurie? What?
When he was younger. Like, he was, like, a lot, like, very lean and lanky and long looking. I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
I was a child.
Well, yeah, all right.
Preface, I was a child.
All right, fine. I thought you were going to say you had a crush on Hugh Laurie when you were a child, and I was like, that's hyper specific.
No, it was definitely Julie Andrews. Speaking of Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. But anyway, and I still do. I would... Julie Andrews is my hall pass.
Love that for you. So, okay, got it.
Now, my 3 recommendations, as I usually do. So, a new film that Jess and I went to go see randomly in a theater, literally last night, was Ex-Husbands. And this is starring Griffin Dunne, who's the lead from, like, After Hours, that Scorsese film from the 80s. And he's certainly been in other things since. But he's a man that, unexpectedly, his wife of years, Roseanne Arquette, wants to divorce him, and he plans a trip and goes to Mexico and crashes his son's bachelor party. And, like, honestly, there's very wholesome father-son relationships in this movie, but everybody has their shit, and everybody, like, every man in this movie is really bad with relationships, and that's why they're all, like, ex-husbands.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, hence the title, I would imagine.
Because, like, even at the beginning... Griffin Dunne's dad, who's like 90, is like, I'm divorcing your mom. I can't handle this anymore. It's just like, he's like, Dad, you're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting exploration of that. And it was really well made and really well acted. James Norton was also in it, who Jess was like, he's British, isn't he? And I'm like, he certainly is. She's like, he looks extremely British.
Was he trying to be American?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, oh, he even has one of those, like, British people American accents. I'm like, you hit it on the head, Jess. You got it.
Which you won't see in House. Hugh Laurie's American accent is great.
Is flawless.
Yeah.
He's, like, Christian Bale level. I'm like, what? He's British?
You can hear it sometimes, but only if you're, like, listening for it and you know. Like, it's very good.
Yeah. And then one film that I watched off my watch list, which I'll be covering on the Wasteland retrospective, is Backdraft. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised I never watched Backdraft. Because, like, this was, like, an early 90s action movie, and I'm like, how did I not watch this at some point with either my mom or my dad? Because I felt like my mom basically showed me every early 90s action movie. But this is about firefighters, directed by Ron Howard with a Hans Zimmer score, so you know that it's... It's like unnecessarily epic at times because it's just like Hans Zimmer roaring in there. But like the special effects on this movie are insane. All the scenes with the fires, and like one of the main characters is Kurt Russell playing a firefighter, so you know he brings the fire too because he yells half his lines and just swaggers there all the time.
Love that.
Robert De Niro is a arsonist investigator for like the fire department, and it's starring Billy Baldwin.
Wow, is that Haley Baldwin's dad? Justin Bieber's wife.
Is it?
I think. I'm pretty sure. Or is Steven her dad?
Oh, I think that might be
I
Steven.
think Steven is
yeah,
Hailey
I think
Bieber's dad.
yes. This one's William Baldwin. Which also Jess, of course, couldn't stop quoting, forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's like, you're effing Billy Baldwin, aren't you? And he starts like chopping up the screen because Billy Baldwin's her co-star on that. Like, he's 100% supposed to be David Caruso from CSI Miami, where like taking off the sunglasses and making some kind of
God.
like wordplay or pun and stuff like that. But no, Billy Baldwin, like the Baldwins, he is not Alec for sure in terms of like acting chops, but
he's there.
And Clint Howard pops up because this is a Ron Howard movie. Speaking of which, my last recommendation, which is a rewatch, which I'll also be talking about, is Apollo 13. Also directed by Ron Howard. Also Clint Howard is in that too. But like, this is like peak dad movies of like the 90s. It's just like, it tells a great story about, they're hero astronauts going up to the moon. Stuff goes sideways, and we got to get them back to Earth. And Tom Hanks, every time he yells, I just think he's Woody, to be honest. In basically anything. Because, like, Woody yells a lot. So, like, all I can think of is just Tom Hanks yelling and just, like, Woody yelling at them. But it's Tom Hanks, it's Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, Ed Harris with hair.
Hair? Ew.
Yes.
I feel like he would look weird with hair.
He did kind of look weird with hair. Which, of course, Jess was like, Ed Harris.
I have to go.
And it's a great movie. You should watch it.
You need to watch House. I can't believe you've never seen House.
See, it's hard for me to justify going back and watching shows like that are such a commitment with that many episodes. Because, like, network television... I do enjoy network sitcoms because, like, they're 22 minutes a piece and you can burn through that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming House is, like, the 43-minute, like, hour-long one because, things used to have commercials.
Things still have commercials.
Well...
If you have the shitty plans.
Well, like, dramas on streaming services are still built to be an hour long.
Yeah. With
ads.
Yeah.
Back then, they were built to be 43 minutes and then ads to make it an hour. So, at least that's easier than, God, sometimes I'm much like, why is this an hour and 15-minute episode of a television show? This is a film. If you hit over an hour, you're a film. Like, that's basically an independent movie you just made, or a stop-motion animated movie because they can't afford to make anything longer than 75 minutes. Looking at you, HBO. You do it all the time.
Okay. Don't smash the TV.
So that's the reason why I probably won't go back and watch House.
It's not even good. Like, I just like it for the nostalgic queer bait. Like, that's literally the only reason.
One show we could always recommend is Evil, right, Paige?
Oh my god. So, yeah, I have a podcast, the Evil Twins podcast, about the show Evil with my sister. And we actually recorded our last episode. So we're almost done. My sister and I are going to record one more episode as like a retrospective. But like
now that's all done.
Yeah, we've reviewed every single episode of Evil. Isn't that fucking like crazy?
And I've been there every single episode along the way, and I can't wait to watch listen to the retrospective episode and think about how badly they screwed us with the ending of the show.
God! Oh. Do you want this video to be 20 more minutes long? Don't get me started.
You should go check out their podcast, and then you can listen to it then.
Twins podcast on Spotify.
Yes. But Paige, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this threesome for a perfume commercial.
You're so welcome, bestie.
It's fun putting it that way, isn't it?
It sure is.
But thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.